Good morning, South Rock. Welcome to another Incarnate Devo. Today is Isaiah 35, a whole chapter, all 10 verses. But no, it is a really cool couple verses about who Jesus is or how Jesus is going to come. So let's start in verse 4. So in verse 4 of chapter 35, Isaiah is saying, be strong and fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, with the recompense of God. He will come and save you. So this sounds great. This is what the first century Jewish community thought the Messiah was going to be. He was going to come with vengeance, with a strong iron fist, and he was going to rule. But Isaiah continues. He says, the eyes of the blind will be opened, and the ears of the deaf unstopped. Lame men will jump like deer, and tongues of the mute will sing. He even says, dry ground will have a spring, and where there once were jackals and all sorts of wild animals, there will be grass and there will be prosperity. And so really, it seems like this is very clearly talking about Jesus and who the Messiah really is. The Messiah is going to come with vengeance and justice, and he'll come and save you. He'll come and save you by opening your eyes and unstopping your ears. This is exactly who Jesus was. This is exactly who the Messiah was. He came and he provides us justice, but he also came to provide us with this healing. And he came to really save us in a way that wasn't like a ruling king, even though he is king. It was more of a savior, more of somebody to redeem us, which it gets into in verse 8, it talks about a highway, and it shall be called the way of holiness. And I can't find a commentator that talks about this, but I always wondered if this way of holiness and those who walk on it are on the way is a reference to the early church, because the early church was actually called the Way. And so that would be a really cool thing. I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but what I do know is both the people that belong to the church, those that are truly seeking and following after Jesus, and those who are on the way of holiness that Isaiah 35 is talking about, both of these people are the redeemed of the Lord. Both of these people have been ransomed by the Lord. And that's the important connection here. And so I love verse 10. And the oh my goodness, excuse me. And the ransomed of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with singing. Zion is where Jerusalem is, the Mount Zion. But again, I said this, I think, on Friday. Zion is also a reference to heaven, the new heaven coming that we get to be a part of. So, and the ransomed of the Lord, which is us, shall return and come to Zion. We shall go spend eternity in heaven with Jesus. With singing, there will be everlasting joy. It shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. I just love that. It's basically saying those that follow Jesus will be ransomed. They'll be redeemed back to God, and they'll be able to come into heaven with nothing but joy and gladness. Now, this is the week of Thanksgiving, and I thought about asking a question that was very similar to Friday of how we ought to live knowing this, but it's also the week of Thanksgiving. And so I think this verse 10, we should be giving thanks. This is something that we ought to be thankful for. This is something that we get to enjoy: redemption, joy, gladness, and no more sorrow and sighing. So it's been a tough year. Let's spend the day worshiping and thanking God for this. And celebrating. So right now, let's find a piece of paper, find a Post-it note, find the inside of your hand, take a pen, and just write down verse 10 and keep it with you today. Maybe put it in your wallet, maybe put it on your visor of your car, somewhere where you're going to see it, and just read it continually, occasionally, whatever. And every time you see it and read it, let's celebrate with joy that when Jesus came, he came to save. He came not to rule, but to die on a cross for us. And that's something that we all get to participate and be a part of. So I hope you have a good Monday, giving thanks to the Lord.